Welcome to the show to my dear friend KALEY CUOCO. I mean, the fact that you're here is just blowing my mind right now.
Oh my God, stop it. You're being crazy. I'm so happy to be here. You have no idea. Wait, I'm going to turn I don't want text messages while we're talking, okay? Thank you. No, I'm happy to do it. I told you that I don't do a lot of these, so when I do, I really I take it seriously. There's so many out there now. So it's an amazing way to communicate and get your story across. It's pretty cool, but it's kind of taken over the world. It's the new thing.
Especially now during,
especially now. Yeah. Yeah. But it's so good to see you, Sarah. You know how much I've always adored you. You've always been so special to me. You, Rory, you all have been special. So I'm honored that you asked me.
Likewise. I mean, you've only been on 3 podcasts ever. So this is like a major, I'm really going to put this on my resume as as a high point. Okay.
No, for me too. I'm really looking forward to chatting.
So we met through your ex-husband and then have continued to be, stay in touch. And
yes, we met through my ex-husband. Well, yeah, I met you guys. That was, thank God. I mean, you were the relationship that I needed, not that one. It all happens for a reason. You never know who you're going to meet along the way.
It's the truth. And I'm so grateful that relationship brought us to you guys, because you're such a sweet soul. And I want to talk about that later. But first off, what were you doing? We're in the middle of a pandemic right now.
I know.
It's crazy.
My husband and I got to move into our new house during this whole thing, which has been weird blessing, because we would have never had this time, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
We would have never I was shooting in New York and he's very busy. We just wouldn't have had multiple months to actually move into this new space together.
Totally.
And we wouldn't have thought any different. That's what's so interesting. We would have just been fine with that, because it's kind of how we are. But then we got to move in together and enjoy the house and, I don't know, just do those sort of things, because we never lived together. And that was this whole drama.
Huge drama.
It was this whole thing. People were just appalled, which was so funny. I actually think people were secretly jealous that we hadn't lived together. They were I'm you guys, it's the greatest thing ever. And then we finally, got the house and we did what we needed to do. We just took, we took our time with it. We just wanted to.
So you went from living apart to now living together, quarantined.
We're quarantined, yes.
How is that transition?
It's honestly been great. And I have to admit, we're still not in the house every single night together, because, he has to take care of his ranch in Del Mar, where we got married.
Oh my God, that place is stunning.
So stunning. So he still takes care of that a few days a week. So, but the first month when we moved in, we moved in and we did everything. And it was 24/7, but we just love this house so much, and it's so us. And we really took our time in finding it.
Yeah.
And putting things in here that we both love, it started to be a challenge for me, because I'm so used to just being I like that, I want that, I.
Mm-hmm.
And so having him have his, we really truly shared this home, and I've never truly shared a home with anybody. It's really usually been mine. Or there's been separate places. So it was a big step for me just personally.
I bet. I mean, huge. And from what I've seen, it looks gorgeous. I mean, just stunning. So
it's beautiful. We're in a total horsey neighborhood too. Ugh. 1 million animals. We have so many dogs and so many horses. And this neighborhood was weird, built for us. There's people that walk their horses up and down the road, and wake up in the morning, and there's the town dog walker, and he's got 20 dogs on his, yes. And every morning we watch them go by, and it's just these little things that, I don't know, it feels really the right place for us.
Oh, well, that's the best.
So
I mean, you couldn't ask for any more, right?
No, we really couldn't.
And Carl's been cooking for you and getting food from his garden. It's this little utopia with all these animals all around. It seems like an amazing place to be quarantined. So what were you doing when the the lockdown started? What were you in the midst of?
So I was in New York shooting season 1 of my new show, The Flight Attendant, for HBO Max, which, has been a big labor of love for me. I'm sure you know that I optioned that book years ago. And so getting it going, and it was to really be there with something from the beginning has been an unbelievable process. A lot of highs, a lot of lows, difficulties, and beautiful moments at the same time. But I finally got this thing going. We were shooting in New York. We were doing 8 episodes for HBO Max, and we were just wrapping episode 5 when we got pulled and told us to come home. And I was in New York, and so this was a Thursday night, and I woke up on Friday, and they had said we're shutting down. And I should have left on Friday, but I think something in my head was like, oh, they're probably going to call me to go back on Monday. Like, let's not all like, I was totally thinking this was nothing. I don't know what planet. Also, when you're shooting a show like that, I have never in my, like, I was so
like head down.
Yes.
Totally.
Yes. I mean, I didn't know what my friends were doing. I wasn't talking to my family. I just I was so needed to get this job done the way I wanted it to be and still want it to be. So when I heard this, I was like, it felt very shocking to me. Like, I was not very aware. So by Friday, they were like, no, you need to leave New York. You need to go home. And I'm like, really? Like, I couldn't believe it. So I came home on Saturday, and that was it. We're still waiting to go back to work.
Wow. So is it just, you're just on hold like everyone else, kind of waiting to see what happens and when you'll finish and when it'll air? When was it originally supposed to air?
So HBO Max is launching May 27th, and we were launching the network, our show. We'd be done. We would be wrapped right now. So that was so obviously we're not doing that. That was a little heartbreaking, but it's fine. I don't want to, there were talks of possibly releasing the episodes we did, but I don't want to do that. What if we don't shoot for a year? Like, I don't want people to forget. So we just I sucked it up. I was like, we need to, I'm hoping to release everything at the same time. So you can just like binge the 8 episodes, which is how I watch TV.
Me too.
Yeah, exactly. But we have no idea when we're going back. And the only comforting part about that is that I'm in the same boat as everybody else. Like, it's not like I'm watching people start shooting and I'm like, why are they working? Like, we're all just kind of wondering what's up. Yeah.
Crazy.
I know.
So this is a brand new endeavor for you, obviously, because you have all these different hats on. You're executive producing, right? You're starring in it.
Yes.
I assume you're kind of like in the behind the scenes.
I'm in everything.
In all of the little like dirty production.
Like, I am like, you can't get rid of me. I'm in everyone's shit.
Oh, how do you like being in that, from that vantage point? Like, what has the creative process been like for you?
I love it. It's definitely been new. There is a beautiful part of having your head in the sand and going to work and going home and not caring about what happens. And then you watch it a year later.
It's like magically.
You're just like, wow. Like, the appreciation I have for so many people after this experience. I'm talking about post-production, editing, our props guy, prepping, our scouts when we go for weeks to scout locations. It's like, the more I think of it, you just appear and you start shooting. Well, someone had to go get the permits for this elevator scene. And like, it is just, I have such respect for all these people to make a show or a movie work, because it is a massive team effort. There is no one, I feel I take great pride and responsibility of I want to lead and I want to have a good attitude, and I feel like a leader, but it is a huge team. And if one person fails or isn't into it, it affects everybody. Yeah. And I take that very seriously when I'm there, when I'm at work. I'm the first one there and I'm the last one to leave. And I have a smile on my face, and it totally makes a difference on that set. And when you're working those tough hours, people are grateful, people are grateful to be there. And seeing it from behind the scenes, though, is been very, very different. Like I said, there is a beauty of not knowing what's going on.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's like, I didn't want to know that,
I know, all my time directing and producing. I mean, the time in the editing room is like I can go on a shoot and shoot all this stuff and feel good about it or feel like okay about it, but then the editing room is where I feel like you can create magic or it can just fall flat on its face. It's like such a vital part. And I'd imagine as an actor, when you're not involved and not seeing that part, like now getting to probably get to look into that element. I mean, how much time people spend in the editing room is crazy. People would die if they knew how many hours.
So true. I mean, editors should get every single award known to mankind because they can change an entire scene. They can change your acting. They can change like all of a sudden. The funny thing is I also realized through this process as being a new producer, you know, you see so many cuts of the show. So you see a first cut, a director's cut, the second cut. I mean, we have 9 cuts before we even say we like it. So I've learned that I don't like early cuts. When I watched the first cut of our first episode, I was like, well, that's a career ender. I don't remember doing that, looking like that, like the panic that, and I remember calling, you know, I work with Greg Berlanti's company and Sarah Schechter and everything, and Sarah and I become very close. She's been a total mentor to me, and they have 20 shows on the air. This is what she does all day long. And I called her, I'm like, Sarah, I don't know what I just watched. Like, and she's laughing. She goes, did you watch the first cut? I'm like, that I can't show anyone that. What? She's like, calm down. You've got like 20 cuts to go. We haven't added the music. I mean, just it's a rough cut for a reason, you know. So you have to know what you're watching. But yeah, I'd like to watch more 4, 5, and 6. Number 1 and 2. You know,
I know. Whenever I'm showing people rough cuts, I'm always like, so this is a rough cut. Like I say it like 100 times. It's like you're so sensitive.
Also,
okay, so
music and score too.
Oh my God, the music is everything. I mean, I could go down a rabbit hole with this, but I'm going to keep us on task.
Okay, sorry.
So you were saying you're the first to set, you're the first one to the set, you're the last one there. And I feel like this work ethic has carried, I mean, I think it's probably a big part of your success. Is that accurate? And where does it come from?
It definitely comes from my dad. My dad has an amazing work ethic. And my dad, he always used to tell me, if you're 15 minutes early, you're late. I mean, I've been going by that for years. My dad's work ethic is, I can't compare it to anybody. I mean, he's always been so amazing like that. And he always has a good attitude. I remember even when I was younger and I would go on auditions, like very, very, very little. And, you know, when you're young and you're in an audition room, it's very simple. They ask you to, you know, how are you? How old are you? What do you like to do? You know, very simple questions. And I remember early on, my parents said, you always need to have an answer. You never say, I don't know. And you never say, I'm tired. That's, you know, like, I don't know. Like, that is not a response. And saying I'm tired is not a response. So those 2 sentences are absolutely not in my repertoire. Like, I don't speak like that. And I know that sounds silly, but that's a really important lesson to learn really early, because you need to have an answer for everything. And you do need to, and this job, this show is my responsibility. I started this whole thing, whether it fails or it does great, like, this is on my shoulders. Mm-hmm. I'm the one that walked in. I'm like, let's make this a show. And now it's, you know, so I'm the leader, and I take that very, very seriously.
And it sounds like you're really stepping into that role, and it's kind of a natural thing for you.
It is natural. When we were shooting, and I was kind of with so many different hats and everything, which actually I was fine with. Everyone say, how are you doing so many different things? And I kind of feel like that is I feel very blessed that I am a compartmentalizer. I can truly put things in a box and just open that box, and I can close the box though too. And I can go right.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I don't feel like I have to I don't feel like I have to, I don't know. I'm sorry. We're just gonna have to accept this. I don't know what else.
Don't worry.
Anyway, I call myself like a little advent calendar, and that's the only way I can, you know, you just gotta kind of open it up and do that and then move on to the next thing.
You started acting when you were 5 years old. Can we discuss that? You're so young. And, you know, I mean, we've all heard the stories a million times about the kids who start in Hollywood that young and kind of spiral and have all these issues. And not only did you start young and have been in the industry for so long, then you also were on multiple uber successful shows and have, you know, you're a huge celebrity, and yet you're the most normal person I've ever met. You're so normal and you're so grounded. I know you've heard this a million times because it's such an anomaly, and everyone's like, and how is this possible? Like, how did you become who you are? As you know, we just had a son, Jax, and I am so on this quest to figure out what parents do to get it right. And your parents had to have done something to have you end up so grounded.
Well, let me start by saying your kid is already off to a great start because he has two of the best parents on the planet. So that is where it starts, though. That really is where it starts. I mean, he is already so lucky. He has secure parents, the great relationship. You guys know what you want. You're successful. You are kind. You are together. You're a team. That's been my parents. We're lucky. A lot of people don't have that. A lot of people don't grow up with that, especially people in the business. You hear these horror stories, families divorce and people stealing their money. I mean, all these, it blows my mind. I've never had to deal with that. You know, it really comes from being at home and having a great family and a great system and them treating me normally. I've never, ever in my entire career to this moment have thought of myself as anything but a working actor. And I feel lucky to be a working actor. I don't think of myself any other way. I just don't live like that. Like, I don't even know. If someone recognizes me, I still get shocked. If someone's staring at me, I think something's on my face. Like Carl, my husband, is always so cute about that because he'll be like, he sees so much more than I do, you know? Mm-hmm. He's like, and and I'll be like, I don't know what's going on. They're like, we were at, side story, when we could all still go out to dinner. We were at dinner one night months and months ago. And we were sitting next to Jennifer Aniston. She was there with a bunch of friends, and everyone knows that she's my idol. And by the way, I've met her multiple times. So I'm like multiple, and she's always been great. And she gives me a big hug, and I'm sitting there with Carl, and she's behind me. So she can't see me. And the whole dinner, I'm just like, I got to say something. He's like, what is wrong with you? Say hi. Like, she would probably love to hear from you. Like, you know, you work too. And I couldn't do it. I mean, I spent the entire dinner freaking out about talking to her. And finally dinner was over. I still hadn't talked about it. And I was just like, I can't do it. And Carl's like, it's going to look weird if you walk by and not say hi. Like, it's okay. Like so I was so mortified, but I did. And I said hello to her, but I don't look at myself like, oh, I'm famous too, so I can talk to her. Like, that is not how I live. I never have, and I never will. It's not in my soul.
Oh, it's such a beautiful, pure part of you, and something that I noticed the instant I met you. And anybody who ever asks me about you today, I mean, I just sing your praises like beyond, because it's just really is so rare, and you're just this unicorn. Thank you. I'm very grateful to know you. Okay, so moving on. I can get all mushy later.
I know, we can go on for hours like this.
I love you so much.
It's easy to go on and on, I know.
Okay, so another thing that I read when I was doing my research is, I mean, you're starting so young, and you were auditioning for a pilot, and you really, really wanted it, and it didn't happen. Can you tell me a little bit about this story? Because I'm a very strong believer in the idea that everything happens for a reason. And it seems to me, and there's so many times, it's so easy to look back in life and see those things that, oh, when this happened, this led me down this path. And if that one little thing hadn't happened, then I wouldn't be where I am. And it's like this miraculous puzzle. So for me, when I was learning that about you, I was like, oh my gosh, that's such one of her moments. Like, how it could have gone in such a different direction. Will you tell us that story?
Yes. That definitely was a path switching story or a path changer for me in my career. And I was 15. I was auditioning. I was up for a pilot called, I'll never forget it. It was a Danny DeVito pilot, and it was called The Funkhausers. That was the name. It was about this crazy family. It was really funny. And I was up to play the daughter, and I had gone in, and back in those days, it's very different now. Well, now it's even gonna be more different, but you would go in like 10 times. I mean, it was a process. You would read for the studio and the network, and there would be like 50 people in the room, and they would pair you, put you with this brother to be like, do they look alike? It was nuts. Like what you would go through. It was very traumatic. It's not really like that anymore. It's much quicker, but so they had paired me, and this was just my dream pilot. I thought it was so funny and it would be this huge success. Oh my God, there was a great cast. And they basically told me in the room, which had happened a lot when I was younger, and I've learned now, I've actually mentored other actors saying, don't listen. They literally were like, it's you. This is your show. Like, this is your job. This is so yours. Everyone's obsessed with you. They want you. I mean, they were like calling my agent. This show's going to be huge. Kaylee's going to be huge. Well, I didn't get it. And I was devastated. The next morning, I didn't go to school. This is like school week. I stayed in bed. I cried all day. And I told my mom, I said, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, it really, like, I could cry thinking about it. I just broke me. Like, they basically told me I got the job. And then they said, you don't. Devastated. I didn't go to school. My mom felt so bad. She's like, Haley, there's a million more outlets to me. I'm like, nope, this is not what I want to do. So that same day, my agent called and said, we just got a call for Kaley they're doing a new pilot. No one is cast yet, but it's called 8 Simple Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughter. And they'd love to bring her into producers today. This is the day I was all sobby and sad. And I said, I don't want to go. I said, I'm not interested. That was the show that I wanted, and I don't want to go. So somehow I got convinced to go, and I really didn't make an effort. I didn't really learn the lines. I just was really depressed, and I went in, and they really liked me, and the process started again, and they brought me back the next day, and I kept getting brought back, and they paired me with the family. And originally, I was being told that John Goodman was going to play the dad. This is what I've been hearing. So it was going to be John Goodman's show. This was not, I didn't know for sure. Brought me back, paired me with the family, still didn't know for sure about John Goodman. I get the call that John Goodman had backed out and that John Ritter was joining. And I remember thinking, John Ritter, like, where's he been? All like, really? Like, it sounded so odd. Of course, my parents thought it was so funny. They're like, this is great. He used to be so funny. And I'm like, okay, like, I just wasn't excited about it. And I ended up getting the job. I get this pilot, and it's John Ritter, and I'm the lead daughter, and I go to the table read, and I remember I had just gotten my license, and my mom let me drive to the table read by myself. I was 16, and John walked in, and I had on I was supposed to play like this sexy teenager, so I had on a very sexy outfit, like just ridiculous. I should not have been wearing it. And John walks in, and he takes off his sweatshirt and he puts it over me. He goes, no, I'm covering you up. I can't, this is when he met me. He didn't introduce himself. And I laughed so hard, and that was it. And we did the table read, and the table read was so brilliant. And he was so funny that I thought, oh my God, this is the show. Like, this is the show. And when we shot that pilot, it was so special, and I knew there was something special about that show. And but I wasn't even going to go in on the audition. Like, I wasn't even going to go.
And then the Funkhausers is nowhere to be seen. Nobody's heard of the Funkhausers.
Horrible pilot. Obviously didn't get picked up to series. I mean, it just showed and then 8 Simple Rules, even though I only did it for, well, so much happened with that. I mean, a year with John, then John died. Then we did add a year with David Spade and James Garner, and then a third year, and it wasn't working. But that show changed my whole life.
Yeah.
Changed my whole life working with John. I talk about him all the time. That's one of my biggest asked questions from people is my time with him. And that year with him. I'll never forget that year with him. Like, everything I do is compared to that, and how I act at work and around people, the way I watched him with crew and with cast and at events and at meet and greets. I mean, people were just on him, and he never stopped smiling. He signed every autograph. He hugged every person. He was unreal. He gave so much of himself. And that's why people loved him so much, because he made you feel like you were his best friend.
What a gift.
It was a huge gift. He was a gift to the whole entire planet. Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah. And fun. And then on top of it, he was hysterical. So there was, just endless laughter. And I just, he was really one of a kind.
I mean, laughter is such a gift to give to people, and is like, especially at a time like now when we're all home. I mean, being able to watch something and laugh
Yes.
is it is so healing, and it is such an incredible gift that you give. You're hilarious, obviously, that's just obvious.
Thank you.
And I mean, you were in people's living room with Big Bang Theory for 12 seasons.
Yep.
And I mean, you've been making people laugh for a really long time, and it is such a gift. I'm really curious to know, and this is going to be a really stupid question, but you talked about your time with John and kind of learning from him and how funny he was. And as an actor, I mean, were you just born inherently funny and you've just kind of been like honing this craft over time? Is it something that you learn? Is it how does it work
I
for you? I should ask.
I don't know. I think I have a gift of making people laugh. I think I think also part of it, in order to be able to do sitcom stuff and silly stuff, you can't take yourself too seriously. A lot of people have a hard time with that, putting yourself out there, being silly, making a face, tripping, whatever it is. My family's really funny, and the other key is working. It's not all me, like, you're working with really funny people who we work well against. And I mean, my Big Bang Theory cast, that's the best that it gets. We would have guest stars come to our table reads and wouldn't realize how full out we would go. Like, a lot of people think of a table read that you're just reading the words. We could have shot the show. And it would be hard sometimes for new people because they wouldn't realize that we're just like moving, right? And they're trying to get in there. And I always felt bad because I don't think they expected it to be we were on. We were always on. And we were just this fine machine that, like, we were tossing a ball back and forth like so quickly. And obviously we had a gift of incredibly talented writers writing hilarious stuff for us, and 12 years to practice. Going in front of a live audience, that's a big thing. You remember James Garner, right? Legendary James Garner. So he came on 8 Simple Rules. He was a huge actor back in the day, drama actor, Maverick, all these great shows, right? Movies. He came on to 8 Simple Rules after John died. He played our grandpa for the season. And he was, God, in his 80s, and he's like an icon. And I remember him saying to me how terrified he was to do our show in front of an audience because it's so different. And even someone like that who's so used to, I mean, he was a star. He was a movie star, a television star, but he'd never done a live show, a live audience. And that is that's very hard for people to get used to.
It is crazy. I mean, I went to a couple of the tapings at Big Bang, and to watch you guys work, I mean, it is so breathtaking because it's like you said, everybody knows their role. Everybody moves so quickly. It's like you have such a greater appreciation for the craft watching it live. The show is happening in front of your eyes. It's like,
and quickly,
so fast. Like each
what's going
scene.
on. Yeah.
Amazing. It's incredible.
Thank you.
So we're just coming up upon the 1-year anniversary since Big Bang ended. How can you believe it? Yeah. How have you been? I mean, what do you miss most?
I miss the crew. And my cast too. I love my cast, obviously, but I love the crew. I think I do miss the tape nights. Those were always really, really fun. But I think in hindsight, it was the right time to move on. And I look back on it with such just love, and I am amazed at what we've done. And now there's like a new crop of kids who are like 12, 13, 14 coming up to me saying, we just started watching your show. And I'm like, oh my God. Because I used to say that shit to like a Jennifer Aniston I'm like, or I just started binge watching Seinfeld. And they're, it's like, now I'm getting that rut where they're like, we just started season 1 of Big Bang Theory. And I'm thinking, oh my God, like, right? I never thought that would happen. And it's like a whole new age now are experiencing the show, which is really kind of cute.
Speaking of, I mean, you're since people have spent so much time with you, watching you on TV, I assume it's like they feel like they know you, and that can be this beautiful thing, but also I'm sure it can be maybe overwhelming at times, but maybe not. I think you were truly, I was saying to Rory at breakfast this morning, I was like, Kaley was born to be a celebrity because you handle it so well. Like, you just seem like you're unfazed by it, because it is a very hard thing to have your life under a microscope, but you just seem to handle it in stride. What is it like having your life under a microscope? I mean, like, people are like fascinated by you walking into like your yoga class, or like, she's going to yoga.
No, they want to just see like what pants, is she wearing what pants or whatever. I am totally unfazed. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm totally unfazed. I don't live like that. I don't hide. I laugh at some of these people. It's like, if don't go to the Ivy if you don't want your picture taken, like, just know where you're going and what you're doing. I'm not a hider. Just the other day, you probably saw on my social media, I was doing the Today Show for a charity that I'm involved with.
Oh my God.
Did you see? And my Wi-Fi
Yes.
went out. I was like, I'm just doing this in a towel. Like, I don't care. Like, I was
And your
determined.
ears, and you had the bunny ears.
My towel ears. I didn't care. Like, that's me. That's who I am. People love that. Like, my social media, my Instagram is so me. I'm not on there doing ads and doing, people like it and some people don't, but I'm just not phased that way. I really am not. It's not, I've been in this business a long time. I'm not newly in the business. I've been since, 5 years old. So I'm very used to the lifestyle. And fans are amazing. It is interesting, there is a comfort level with a lot of fans, because they watch me like every night. So there is just a level that is a little surprising sometimes, where they just want to like come up and touch you. Although no touching now. So, with Corona, they are keeping their distance. But no, it's, they're the reason why I've gotten where I am. There's so much support for the show, primarily. I mean, that's just the way life is. It's all good.
I want to talk, first of all, how many animals do you have currently at your house? Like, do we need to be concerned that there are too many? Like, I feel like every few days, I mean, everyone needs to follow you on social media, because you are hilarious, and there's so many animals. I've met a few of them. I've met Shirley. I've met Norman. I've met Ruby.
Look at her staring at me right now. We've got one in here.
Oh.
Cheryl,
Hi.
what are you doing? Are you just staring at me? She's just judging me from over there. So this little community that we live in, some like cities, I believe there's like a limit, like it's considered hoarding. I'm actually not kidding. In this community we live in, you get to there's no limit on how many animals you can have.
I'm sure that wasn't an accident that you moved there.
It was not. No. We have 6 dogs, 2 rabbits, and obviously tons of horses, but they're not on our property. But 6 dogs in the house, yeah.
And didn't you get piglets?
Oh, and we have pigs. Well, they're not here, but we just rescued 2 piglets at the farm. The ranch, we're building this dream ranch, and I'm really determined to make it. It's just going to be a big place to bring in as many rescues as possible. I want to do a lot of that sort of thing there, and anything 4-legged that needs a home, we are getting prepared to be able to take that on. So that's been like my lifelong dream.
Oh, that's amazing.
So anything, we're excited. We're trying not to look for it. We're letting it come to us. Like the piglets, in a weird sense, came to us. The last few goats we got got dropped on us, and we took we're just kind of letting it happen organically. And it's been working really well. So that's what I've always wanted, though. And Carl too. I married a guy who wants the same things I do.
Yes.
He's just as crazy as I am with all this. So it's great.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
What is it that you love so much about animals?
Oh my gosh. They're just so helpless. Like, they don't have, for when I think of someone like mistreating one, or, you've seen on my social, this new one I got, Dumpy. He's not new. He's like 1,000 years old. I actually, I took him to the vet today because he had never got any dental work. And I'm like, so his teeth were just rotting. I mean, it's to think, and then they dropped him off at the shelter and didn't want him anymore. And I'm like, when I think of that act of someone leaving him, and he's so forlorn and so scared as it is, my heart, I can't stand it. Like, the way you treat an animal, I don't know. I want to know what you do behind the scenes. Like, what else are you going to do to a child, to a spouse, I don't know. I just feel like they don't have a voice, and there's so many that need us. There's so many, and I have the ability, I have the means to save a lot of them. And that I feel like is a calling of mine, like no doubt a calling of mine. And I feel very grateful that I'm able to do that and give certain ones the care that they need. They bring me so much joy. Like, I remember years ago, it was way before I was married. Like, I was dating a guy who was like, I mean, have you ever like been without a dog? I remember that comment. And I went home. I remember thinking, God, maybe like, I guess I haven't, like, I should probably think about that. And then I thought,
what?
Why? Yeah. Like, it was weird that I've never been without an animal, was kind of what he was saying to me. And I realized, like, I didn't care. Like, and from that moment on, I was like, I will have as many animals as I want. Like, I will save everything I possibly can, use my voice. That's another reason why I'm grateful to be some sort of a celebrity, because some people listen to me and I get to speak out for the animals. And I get, put it out there and get some people to listen and change a few minds. That's like huge. That's a big part of this whole thing,
Yeah. You really do that's another thing I was going to say, is that you really do use your voice in such a positive way, and you want to help other people. You are such an advocate for these animals. I mean, every day you're you're looking for a new home. And I mean, it's amazing, but it's so beautiful because it's like, it's so authentic, it's so authentically you, and such a gift, because I mean, like you said, these helpless animals, I mean,
they're the things that are important to me, the dogs and all sorts of creatures, horses, like, and there's certain charities that are very close to my heart too, that I just feel like that's why I'm here. And I have the ability to reach a few more people than normal. And that is huge. And I will take advantage of that, That's very special.
And you're also an equestrian, as is Carl, and love riding horses. Yes. What is it that you love about riding horses? It seems like it could be almost like a meditation, riding a horse.
I love it so much. It is such an amazing experience to be able to bond with a incredible beast like that. It's just you and him or her. You're not on your phone, most likely, hopefully not. You're not doing anything else but focusing on that. And it's a difficult sport. I mean, the intricacies of what it takes. So I feel like it doesn't come easy to me. And so it's this awesome challenge. And obviously getting to be around the animals all day long is the greatest thing ever. But I love the sport. I love the competition part of it. I love the preparation. I love my training, my trainer, just kind of getting ready for a horse show or getting my horse ready, or it's just a beautiful, beautiful sport. I love watching my husband compete. Like, I get really, really into that side of it too, and just kind of being supportive from the side. But I just love going out there. It's so special and calming. It's also frustrating, especially when you're in the competitive part of it. It's not easy. And I just feel grateful that I'm able to do it the way I'm doing it, and have the horses that I have. I have a team of people that we take it very seriously, the horses that I get, that they're safe and that they're this and they're that. And they check so many boxes for me to be able to enjoy the sport as much as I can, while I'm still having my career and all this stuff. So it's a very special side of my life. And then to meet a guy who does it, I mean, that was a dream, that to be able to meet someone, that loves it like I do, and competes at the top of the sport. And I just get to enjoy that side of it, because I really do enjoy it.
Okay. Now I want to be cognizant of your time, so I want us to wrap up here, but kind of a big question here.
Okay.
What why do you think that we're here? Like when you think of kind of the purpose of life or your life, do you feel like we each kind of have an individual journey that we're on? Do you think that we all kind of are on a similar evolution? Like what do you think that our purpose is?
Oh my gosh, that is a big question.
I said it was big.
It is big. You know, I think everyone has a wonderful purpose in this life, but they just have to find it. You know, sometimes it takes a long time to find it, what it is, and to find your passion and that love, and what it's important and what it means to you. You know, being an actor is my job, and I love it. Is that my purpose in life? I think that it makes people happy. Like you said, I love to make people laugh. I love to do those sorts of things. But my purpose in life is to like spread joy and to save animals and to have this great relationship with my husband who I adore and build that life with him. And I'm, you know, the work side of it is a wonderful side of it, but that's not everything. I do think everyone has a special purpose and something to give to this world. I don't know what anyone else's is. I've definitely figured mine out. Caring for animals and doing charity work and using my platform, my voice for good is one of the reasons why I'm in the position that I'm in, why I'm, you know, famous or whatever, which I can't even say that. It just sounds so silly to me, but that people will listen to me to an extent. But we're not all on the same path. You know, my path looks different than yours, than anyone else's. And you don't want to try and be anybody else or copy what they're doing. You know, your path is yours and special to you and to your life. And we can all learn from each other in that way.
That was so perfect. I love it, Kaley. I love it so much. Is there anything else you want to say that you feel like just kind of like the world needs to hear?
No, thank you for asking me to be on, and I really do adore you. You're so special, and I just really, really have always loved you so much, and you're just such a kind soul, and I wish you like every success in the entire world, and you really are a true friend. You and Rory both have been really good friends to me over the years, and it means a lot to me. So I just hope that you know that.
I can't appreciate that enough. And oh no, I can't even end because I have one more thing, because you saying that just made me think of this. Sorry, can I ask one more question?
Yes, of course.
So I feel like loyalty is like kind of one of your cornerstones and is one of the most beautiful things about you, and something that it's crazy. Like you found time to come to my baby shower or like my birthday one year. Like you're so busy and you just like, I'm not even in your like
wedding. You do that too.
Of course, but I'm just saying, like, you are a little bit busier than I am, I think, but
we're all busy.
We're all busy, but you just have this amazing way of like making the people around you feel so special and feel like, you know, you're like, oh, sure, of course I can come. You know, it's like, it's just never a thing. And I just value that in you so much. And I know your close group of girlfriends, like, it's just, I know that they'd say the same thing. And I also happen to know that you have had the same team around you for however long, decades maybe. And that is such a beautiful thing. Kind of get the chills. I don't even know why, but saying this. But why is will you tell me a little bit about why loyalty is so valuable to you?
Loyalty is huge. That goes back again to my parents. My dad is like the most loyal person in the entire world. I've had the same business team, and business team meaning agents, managers, attorneys, publicists, business managers, all those people, basically the same group of people since I was 15 years old. And you know, when I talk about that, some people get a little funny because they're like, well, good for you. Like that doesn't happen to everybody. And how can we do that? And I understand that doesn't happen to everybody. Like I totally get it. But I do believe that if you put your trust and faith in people, that you really truly let them do what they're supposed to do. Like don't micromanage, let them do the job you are paying them to do, and respect that. They are going to return the favor to you tenfold. They are going to want to work for you. They're going to want to fight for you. You know, and it doesn't happen overnight. You know, those people that get upset when I say that, because I think they think that I'm like, it's an anomaly. Like that's not normal. I think it can be normal, but you have to be loyal and let people want to work for you, want to fight for you. My team, I have had, this team has been so amazing. Like, it's Team Cuoco. When they're taking care of me, I'm not in there trying to tell them what to do or questioning their decisions, or, you know, is this what they want from me, or is this the right thing, or what do they mean by that? Like, I have never been that way. And I keep that circle very tight. I don't think a lot of new people should be coming in. I think your circle needs to be small. And it doesn't need to be 20 people on a team like mine, but I think you keep it small at first and you trust that group, and it can grow. But you have to have the core people that you know, that you trust, that I know people aren't stealing from me, that I know people, they're not talking badly about me on a meeting call. Like, they're not rolling their eyes at me on the phone, you know, like, because I'm not doing that to them. I trust them. I love every single person on my team, and they know it. They know it. And it is such a group effort. And I am very lucky, but I have been loyal to them for 15, 20 years, and they have been loyal to me. So, and I'll be with them for the rest of my career, which is that is a really, really, really big deal. And I feel very, very proud of that.
It's so cool. It really is. And something that I love about you. And I really am so grateful that we met each other, and that
You
I
are
mean,
a lifelong friend.
likewise, likewise. We definitely went through some stuff, and there was, you know, like this period of time that we got to be there for each other. And I think that just bonds us for life.
No, you were really, really there for me. And I'm just so grateful for your friendship. And I also feel this, like, your energy is so wonderful that when, I know sometimes we don't get to talk all the time, but when I do talk to you and connect with you again, I feel like I've been seeing you every day. Like, that says a lot about you. There's just a natural loveliness about you. And I feel like, oh, like, I just saw Sarah. Like, it's really sweet. I feel like I can just always dive back in with you, and it's the same, you know? So
Likewise.
it's very comfortable. Yeah.
Likewise. Thank you so, so much for being here with me today, my love. It really means the absolute world. I love you so much.
I love you too. And I'm sorry for the dings. I don't know. What can we do? I love you. Thank you for having me.